A woman found a strange crystal stone in the desert, and there seems to be something mysterious hidden inside it, but just as the woman was examining it carefully,
oh! What is that thing?
It's obvious that this weapon isn't of Earth's technology. The man beside her suggested testing the weapon's power, but the woman was worried that the mysterious weapon's power was too great, afraid that they might destroy the Earth. Yet the woman also wanted to try out the weapon, and they were in the desert at this moment. There was no better testing ground than this. For the sake of safety, the woman set the weapon's energy to the lowest level and then pressed the activation button. The weapon in her hand immediately began to charge up. The next second,
It's a little high.
the desert in front of them was actually split in two. What on earth is going on here? Where exactly did this extremely powerful weapon come from? It all starts with an ordinary family. Molly, a little girl who has been interested in the universe since childhood, has now fallen asleep dreaming of traveling through space. Her parents were still downstairs watching midnight TV, but the next second, an unusual noise suddenly came from outside the door. The couple thought it was a wild cat messing around outside their house. The man then picked up his cue stick and walked towards the door, but before long, a clattering noise rang out. The man rushed back into the house in panic. He then said he had seen a creature he had never seen before. His wife was so scared that she told him to call the police immediately, but just as the man picked up the phone, the doorbell suddenly rang.
That was fast.
Clearly, the call hadn't even been made yet, but the animal control officers arrived at the scene in an instant. This absurd contrast made the couple even more curious. The animal control officers told them, a unique, non-invasive alien creature named Tarant had appeared nearby. It looked cute for now, but once it entered adolescence, it would turn into a terrifyingly powerful monster. Molly, hiding in the corner, heard every word of this conversation clearly, but with a casual turn of her head, she caught sight of that cute little creature.
Be scared. It's okay.
Tell me, is there anyone else in the house?
Molly was still hiding in the corner, and it was because of this that she witnessed a scene that would change the course of her life. No matter the circumstances, the men in black must erase the short-term memories of ordinary people. This continues the core principle of the Men in Black franchise. They never allow ordinary people to know about the existence of extraterrestrials. Only by keeping the public in the dark can they safeguard the secret of Earth's coexistence with alien civilizations. After the Men in Black left, Molly quickly signaled the little creature to follow her, then opened the window on the other side. She wanted the little creature to leave on its own.
It's okay. I'm your friend. I'm Molly. Go on. Molly.
The little creature remembered Molly's name, and also left a vague alien phrase, even though she didn't know what the phrase meant. Molly kept it in her heart. In the blink of an eye, 20 years passed. Driven by her boundless longing for the universe, Molly achieved excellent results in all areas and got an interview opportunity at the FBI. But when filling out the section for the department she wanted to join, she drew a box in the blank space and wrote Men in Black inside. This scene left the interviewers completely stunned.
You know, the division where they wear black suits and deal with the guys from up there.
Her persistence in joining the Men in Black left many interviewers deeply confused. They had never heard of a department with people in black suits, so they couldn't fulfill Molly's request. But to find the so-called black-suited team, Molly went to great lengths. With her excellent grades that qualified her for any position, she ended up being hired by NASA. On her desk were two clippings. The left one was about a woman claiming her memory was stolen by men in black suits, and the right one asked, "Who are the men in black?" It was these bits of gossip that sustained her determination to find the men in black. She only took the job at NASA to use its resources to search for signs of alien invasion. After months of waiting, she finally detected an anomalous object. An unidentified flying object suddenly entered Earth's orbit, but in the office lobby, she couldn't hack into the high-level system, so she skipped work and returned to her place. No one would find out if she hacked into the Hubble telescope there. Then, based on the object's movement trajectory, she pinpointed its exact landing site on Earth. That location was none other than New York, the headquarters of the Men in Black. She then took a car to the landing site, but after getting out, she told the driver to wait for her there. "Don't stop the meter, I'll pay extra," she said. This move seemed costly, but it was a crucial part of Molly's careful plan. Unsure how long the mission would take, she had to keep an escape route open. But when she arrived, though the location matched the surveillance footage exactly, there were no signs of the object landing. As she paced back and forth, the pigeons at her feet were startled into flight. When she turned around, the flock of pigeons had vanished into thin air. A surge of excitement rushed through Molly. Before she could think further, her attention was drawn to a warning sign that read danger, 10,000 volts, no trespassing. She approached without hesitation, thought for a moment, and then lifted her arm to reach behind the warning line. The power grid in front of her was an invisible barrier. The moment her fingertips touched it, a faint blue light flickered. It had almost fooled her, and almost made her miss the crucial scene. Immediately afterward, hiding in the corner, she watched as the alien creature was escorted into a black car by two men in black. At the same time, she overheard a very important conversation.
Get this ship out of here! I'll escort our Zamporian friend back.
Learning that the green creature was a Zambolian, Molly began to think about her next move. As the men in black were about to leave, Molly quickly withdrew and then took off her red coat. Unexpectedly, she was wearing a black suit underneath. By now, you should understand her intention.
Don't lose them!
What? I'm on it,
Go, go, go! Go!
Right? With such a well-thought-out plan, she located the headquarters of the men in black, and next, she put on a fake show.
Did they bring in that Zamphorian yet?
Came in a couple of minutes ahead of you.
The guy tried to sneak in behind a Perseid meteor shower. Amateur hour, am I right?
She thought she had successfully fooled the uncle at the door, but the uncle saw through her ruse without exposing it. It wasn't until Molly entered the elevator that the uncle picked up the walkie-talkie.
Code black.
At this moment, Molly was still secretly pleased with herself, but just as she caught sight of the men in black's command center, filled with excitement, the elevator suddenly activated a lockdown alarm. As her vision around her began to blur, the elevator started plummeting rapidly. After reviewing all of Molly's files, though the records seemed impressive, the top commander of the men in black, Agent O, still decided to erase Molly's short-term memory. But Molly had something to say.
No, don't. I know what that thing is. Please.
Hang on.
Even retired men in black agents have their memories erased. No one expected there to be a slip-through in the general public, which made Agent O can't help but wonder. They didn't detect that Molly had hacked into the Hubble telescope. Seeing a glimmer of hope, Molly hurried to say that she had spent 20 years finding them. Though short, these words were like a loud thunderclap. They not only broke the information cocoon that the men in black used to hide the truth, but also brought Molly a new opportunity. She said she had searched for 20 years, solely to put on the black suit and become a man in black. But the men in black have always operated on an invitation-only basis, never accepting unsolicited applications. However, considering that Molly was truly talented, Agent O asked her to give a reason to recruit her. Molly understood the mysterious and solitary nature of the men in black, so she got straight to the point concisely. I have no personal life at all, no lover, no pets, nothing worth clinging to. I only want to explore the true meaning of the universe, to understand how it works. As mentioned at the beginning of the film, Molly's hobby was her curiosity about the universe since childhood. She knew the men in black had the most contact with extraterrestrials, and to understand how the universe works, she aspired to become a men in black agent. Though these words touched Agent O, she still raised an objective question. Did Molly really think the black suit could solve all her problems? Molly knew she couldn't delve deeper into this topic, so she started praising Agent O, saying the black suit looked great on her. But Agent O was not a shallow person. She wouldn't break the recruitment tradition because of a single compliment. However, this compliment also let Agent O see Molly's intelligence, so she made an exception and recruited her. She had Molly systematically learn various skills, and Molly was once again hired as a trainee agent with excellent grades, codenamed M. At the same time, to test her abilities, Agent O assigned her to intern at the London branch. When she boarded the express train full of confidence, she not only saw various extraterrestrials of different shapes, but also experienced unparalleled alien technology. This express train was technically built by extraterrestrials, and managed by the men in black. It was extremely fast, able to meet the men in black's needs for handling emergencies. In just a short while, Molly traveled more than 5,000 kilometers from New York to the London branch. When she walked into the branch lobby, there were also many legally entered extraterrestrials here. As long as they had registered their identity information here, the men in black could monitor their actions in real time. Just as Molly was staring at the screen showing alien dynamics, Agent T, the director of the London branch, approached her. Agent T was sent by Agent O to pick up Molly for her internship. He gave her a welcome gift as soon as they met, which made Molly feel very thoughtful. However, during her internship, a murder occurred in Marrakesh, thousands of miles away. A young man was cleaning, but the lights in the room suddenly started flickering continuously. Thinking it was a power box trip, the young man took a flashlight and went outside. Just as he was repairing the power switch, two bizarre-looking figures suddenly appeared behind him. At the moment the young man turned around, the bizarre figures launched a fatal attack. The reason they killed the young man was that the bizarre figures needed a human disguise so they could move unimpeded on Earth. It's just that the poor young man ended up with no bones left. The two, now in human form, went to an antique shop that seemed ordinary. Seeing the shopkeeper's cold attitude, the two had to use their weak superpowers, scaring the shopkeeper into hastily apologizing, but the two were not interested in the apology at all.
We need to see the Queen.
Yes.
The shopkeeper reluctantly pressed a switch, and a hidden entrance appeared. Inside, there were some alien beings about 2 feet tall. Whenever they saw strangers, they would curl up into a ball to protect themselves. Only the soldier attending the Queen mustered up the courage to drop his defenses and step forward. He asked the two their purpose for coming. One of the men said, "We want this person dead." Staring at the holographic projection in the man's hand, the Queen beside him slowly revealed her true form. She shook her head slowly to refuse their request, making the two change their expressions instantly. Why did the two ask such a tiny queen for help? The matter soon reached the Men in Black's London branch, but failed to alert Agent T. At the moment, T was facing a tricky situation. Wongs, a member of the royal family from the technologically advanced planet Garb, was about to end his visit to Earth and depart. To ensure his safe evacuation, T assigned the escort mission to Agent H, firstly, because H had a close personal friendship with Wongs, and secondly, because H was extremely capable. He had fought alongside T to repel the powerful alien creatures known as the Hive. Later, T also asked Molly to be H's partner to ensure Wang's safe departure. When the two arrived near a remote bar in London, they came here to find Wang's. Since extraterrestrials were a special group, their activity locations were very hidden. After getting into the car parked by the road, the driver verified their identities, and Molly finally understood the true meaning of hidden. The bar was built underground. Most of the patrons here were extraterrestrials disguised as humans, and Wongs was among them. The two sides started chatting as soon as they met. At the same time, the mysterious duo who committed the crime in Marrakesh also arrived at the bar. When they spotted Wongs, they quietly took out an object, then released the item in their palms. It weaved through the crowd and hit Wongs precisely, leaving him instantly weak and collapsing to the ground. The unaware H thought he had too much to drink, so he quickly helped him up, and escorted him to the car parked underground. But before the car could go far, the vehicle carrying Wongs came under sudden gunfire attack. H and Molly hurried over to check, but the mysterious attackers didn't flee. Instead, they faced the gun barrels head-on, then they slowly knelt down on the ground. If you think they would surrender without resistance, you're vastly underestimating them. Their kneeling was merely to channel the energy within their bodies, and launch a fatal counterattack.
That doesn't look good.
Run!
The mysterious attackers stood up and tried to target Wongs inside the car. How could H let them succeed? The continuous gunfire he fired was blocked by the mysterious attacker's superpowers. To break the shield, Molly rotated the car's rear-view mirror forcefully under H's guidance. Unexpectedly, H had transformed the car into a mobile arsenal. As soon as the heavy firepower was unleashed, the mysterious attackers struggled to hold their ground. But this wasn't enough to defeat them. Seeing how powerful the enemy was, H finally decided to switch his weapon.
Exhaust pipe, go!
Now this is more like it. Right.
Perhaps feeling the pressure, the mysterious attacker grabbed a nearby fire hydrant and managed to gather all its energy, but his target was Wang's inside the car. Fortunately, the two noticed in time. Under H's covering fire, Molly rushed toward the car carrying Wang's. When she reached Wang's, he suddenly grabbed her hand. His arm glowed with a purple light. This was the Garban's ability to test if someone was trustworthy. After verifying Molly's trustworthiness, he took out a crystal and said it would protect her. He then told her not to tell anyone, for he had discovered a problem within the Men in Black. Molly wanted to ask more, but Wongs had already breathed his last. Before long, the Men in Black's main force arrived at the scene, trapped in heavy siege. The mysterious duo transformed into 2 streaks of golden energy and vanished into thin air. Afterward, H and Molly returned to the Men in Black's London branch. They retrieved surveillance footage from the bar and along the route. After analyzing the footage of the mysterious attackers, they discovered the shapeshifting ability belonged to the Phantom Twins from the Draco binary star system. The Draco system had long been occupied by the powerful alien creatures known as the Hive. By analyzing the DNA residue left by the Phantom Twins, the men in black found their bodies were filled with the Hive's mutated genes. This gene would take control of the twins' consciousness after invading their bodies. In other words, they were possessed by the Hive. But why did the Phantom Twins want to kill Wongs? This puzzled Agent T. At this moment, Molly finally realized the blue crystal in her hand was the real reason for Wong's death, but she didn't dare to take it out, for she had remembered Wong's last words. There might be a mole within the men in black. Just then, Agent C cited the men in black regulations. Agent C argued that H's mistake had led to the mission's failure, and he deserved to have his memory erased and be expelled from the organization. But both H and C knew how to defend against the memory eraser, leaving neither willing to back down. In the end, Agent T made the final call, and told H to give a reason why he shouldn't be punished. But H was just as confused. At the critical moment, Molly stepped up to save the day. If we erase their memories, the truth will never be uncovered. But Agent C accused Molly of stalling for time. C's eagerness to cover things up made Molly start to suspect he was the mole. But this was only a preliminary suspicion. Answering Agent T's question was the top priority now. So Molly asked Agent T how many people knew about Wong's evacuation itinerary. She learned that besides those in the room, more than a dozen senior agents were also aware. Molly then voiced her suspicion. If Wongs hadn't voluntarily leaked his location, could it mean there was a mole within the men in black? The more Agent C tried to block the investigation, the more H and Molly suspected he might be the mole. After thinking for a moment, Agent T decided to let H and Molly continue hunting the Phantom Twins. But before they left, they analyzed the real cause of Wong's death, the mysterious object the twins had injected into him. It was a microblade coated with a deadly poison. H knew the only source of this poison. The two then boarded the express train, traveling thousands of kilometers again to Marrakesh, Morocco's third largest city, the site of the Phantom Twins' earlier crime. On their way to find the poison maker, H detected someone secretly using alien technology. He followed the trail with Molly to a street stall. The man there, David, was someone H knew, also an extraterrestrial. He had long been associating with a petty thief with a mustache. After some conversation, H told him to hide his motorcycle. Then they left. Soon, the two arrived at an antique shop, the source of the poison on the microblade, but the piles of express boxes at the door looked like they hadn't been collected for days, making them feel a vague sense of unease. They entered the shop and found the shopkeeper had been dead for a long time. They then went to the secret room, only to find the same scene there. As H was thinking,
one more step and I'll liquefy your bangs, pretty boy.
Easy, easy. We don't want any trouble.
Do not move!
Though the soldier had a fiery temperament, H took a great liking to him. After listening to the soldier's fragmented account, the two learned that the Phantom Twins had been here, but the soldier knew nothing else. Seeing how lonely and pitiful the soldier was, Molly decided to take him along. Then they left. After several days of interaction, finding H to be a good person, Molly no longer wanted to hide the secret of the crystal. Unexpectedly, H had known about the crystal all along. He had even taken it from her while she was resting. But as he complained about Molly not trusting him, several men in black vehicles arrived at the scene. It turned out that Agent C was the one directing these men in black. Shortly after H left, his subordinates had provided him with a surveillance video, which showed Wongs handing the crystal to Molly. Learning that Molly had concealed the truth and kept such an important item privately, C immediately called for backup and surrounded H and Molly. But as C directed the arrest in real time, T spotted the scene through the distributed surveillance cameras. Seeing C arresting fellow agents without authorization, T initially wanted to reprimand him, but C pulled up the surveillance footage of Molly hiding the crystal, using it to prove their violation. Even though T wanted to protect H and Molly, the evidence was irrefutable, leaving him helpless. He had to let C proceed with the arrest. Meanwhile, H was hiding in a corner, thinking about the crystal's purpose, when he unexpectedly received a call from T. On the call, T only said one sentence.
H, listen to me. This isn't my operation. Get out of there, get safe, then report.
However, Agent C happened to spot T making the call. No matter how dissatisfied he was, he couldn't change T's bias toward H. After all, H had once defeated the Hive alongside T. At this moment, H handed the crystal to Molly, and told her to escape through a side alley with it, while he distracted the men in black, buying her time to get away. But H wasn't without a plan. He immediately went to David's shop, and rented the alien motorcycle he had just repaired. Unexpectedly, David was kind enough to hand him a pot of water before he left, making H can't help but praise him for being thoughtful. He didn't notice that the fake mustache on David's face had disappeared. He then started the motorcycle and rushed out at full speed, with the men in black's vehicles chasing closely behind. Thanks to the ultra-fast alien motorcycle, H quickly shook off the pursuers and found Molly, who was trapped by the Phantom twins. He revved the engine amid their attacks, skidded along the wall, soared into the air, and escaped quickly, even though the men in black surrounded them again soon after. H didn't panic. He pressed the red button on the motorcycle. In an instant, the motorcycle entered faster than light travel. In just a split second, the two arrived in a desolate desert, but their escape left Agency fuming. He knew T had secretly tipped them off. He mustered up the courage to confront T, asking why he always protected H. Faced with his subordinate's audacious outburst, T finally showed the authority of a branch director. He said coldly, "If you have nothing else to say, Agent C, you may leave now. Stick to your own duties. Rank has its privileges." Even though C was filled with resentment, he had to suppress his anger and exit the office, biding his time for a counterattack. Meanwhile, as the escaped pair rested in the desert, they noticed the crystal that had accidentally fallen was slowly moving on the sand by itself. They leaned in to take a closer look, but the next moment,
What is that thing?
unexpectedly, the crystal was a high-tech weapon. Its core was continuously emitting convection energy, like a compressed star. Molly then pressed a small button on the side of the crystal, intending to activate the lowest setting to test its power, but she had no idea, until she tried it, and was shocked by the result.
That was the low setting?
Do we think anyone's gonna notice that wasn't there before?
This test caused extremely terrifying damage. No wonder Wongs said it would protect Molly before he died. This was just the lowest setting. If it were at full power, one could only imagine the astonishing destruction it would bring. After calming down, H set about repairing the motorcycle, which had malfunctioned after the faster-than-light travel, planning to leave. But a man with a mustache suddenly jumped out of the water pot David had given them. It turned out they had been targeting H all along, their sole goal being to seize this powerful crystal weapon, which they planned to hand over to the interstellar arms dealer Reza, before quickly disappearing into the desert. What they didn't know was that H had ex-girlfriends all across the universe, and the arms dealer Reza was one of them. He took Molly to Reza's territory and found the defenses extremely tight. It was only because of their past acquaintance that H was allowed to set foot on the island. Greeting him was Luca, a fierce Tarantian warrior from the cosmos, whose strength even H had to respect. He led H to meet Reza, but shortly after he left, Molly snuck out from her hiding place. It was clear their plan had been in the works for a long time. In no time, H came face to face with Reza, but Reza showed no sentimentality for their past. Reza saw through H's intentions. He had definitely come for the crystal, and since H really wanted to get it back, he had to hold his tongue for the moment. Then, to curry favor with Reza, he pulled out a carefully prepared gift.
And I know how you like special pets, so I brought you a peace offering.
Meow, meow, bark, wolf, etc., etc.
Reza looked at the creature in her hand. It was ugly, but uniquely so. She accepted the gift. But the next moment, she told her men to drive H away. This was exactly what H had been waiting for. When he reached the shore, he suddenly launched an attack, taking down 2 accompanying security guards, then rushed into the nearby control room. This was where the island's defense systems were controlled. He skillfully operated the equipment to shut down the systems, so that Molly could climb onto the island, evading the patrolling guards. Also part of the plan was the soldier, who had disguised himself as part of the gift. He quietly crawled out of the glass jar, intending to sneak to where the crystal was kept and take it without being noticed, but the glass jar slipped from his grasp, and the sound of it shattering caught Reza's attention.
I'm going to call you back.
Grapple, grapple, grapple.
Well, look at your little legs. You are so fast.
At this moment, Molly evaded the guards and reached Reza's private collection room. She picked up the crystal from the table, but Reza suddenly appeared behind her. Meanwhile, H was also spotted by Luca. The two immediately engaged in battle. Against the formidable Luca, H couldn't gain any advantage. That was until he spotted a hammer nearby. Only then did H regain a glimmer of confidence.
Looks like the tables have turned. Oh, that was an incredible catch.
Neither of them expected their separate operations to be controlled by the enemy. When Molly learned that Luca was a Tarantian, she suddenly remembered the cute little Tarantian she had met as a child. She couldn't help but utter the alien phrase she had remembered for so many years.
I know a Tarantian. I met one once.
I helped him. Kablanak Shulin.
What?
It was exactly this phrase that made Luca let go of H. It turned out Luca was that cute little creature from back then, to repay the life saving favor from years ago. He didn't hesitate to switch sides, but after 20 years. Molly was eager to know the meaning of that phrase, and Luca was happy to explain.
It means one day I'll kill whoever you choose in the most gruesome way imaginable.
With Luca's help, the crystal was finally recovered. They planned to take the crystal and leave the island immediately, but unexpected changes suddenly occurred around them, trapping them in trouble once more. And the ones launching the surprise attack were the Phantom Twins. The Phantom Twins repeatedly chanted for the Hive. This indicated they were not the Hive themselves, but H didn't realize the significance of this clue at the time, only wanting to get rid of them quickly. Just as the Phantom Twins were about to launch their attack, they were hit by a devastating blow from behind. The person arriving was T. He was very satisfied with H and Molly's performance, then took them back to the London branch and sealed the crystal weapon in public. But after T left, Molly and H finally recalled what the Phantom Twins had said, thinking the twins were not the actual Hive itself, but the earlier DNA analysis had confirmed they carried the Hive's mutated genes. They immediately took out their devices to review the twins' detailed files, only to find the files had long been deleted. The only person with the authority to do this was Branch Director T. Shortly after, H questioned how T had arrived on the island so timely, and Molly took out a compass, a gift T had given her when she first joined, which she had been carrying with her all along. It seemed T had planned this all along, secretly monitoring their movements from the shadows. They then went to the storage room and opened the box holding the crystal, only to find the crystal had vanished without a trace. This further confirmed that T was the mole in the London branch. This led H to raise two more questions: who had sent T as a mole, and where was he taking the weapon? Just then, Agent C appeared and stated that T's destination was Paris. Unexpectedly, Agent C had also long suspected T was up to something. He had planned to assemble a team to hunt T down, but H stopped him. After all, T was also a highly decorated agent. If news of his betrayal spread, it wouldn't only shake the trust within the organization, but the organization would never be able to recover its reputation. For the Men in Black's reputation and stability, he decided to go after T alone, but Agent C still raised a question.
But what if you can't stop him? Then what? Well, then tell them it was me. Tell them I was the traitor.
Seeing that H truly had the Men in Black's best interests at heart, and was resolute in his stance, C stopped trying to stop him. Shortly after, H drove the Men in Black's specially designed flying car, speeding toward Paris. As the red button was pressed, jet thrusters extended from the bottom of the car, launching it into flight mode. But shortly after takeoff, C sent an urgent message about the Hive via the communicator. According to satellite surveillance, a large fleet of Hive ships was rapidly approaching Earth, expected to arrive in a few hours, and hidden within Paris Eiffel Tower was an ancient interstellar gateway. When the two arrived, the energy of the teleportation gateway was rapidly intensifying. They then took the special elevator hidden inside the tower, heading to the lower level where the gateway was located. Faced with the impending Hive attack, Molly wanted to ask H about the Hive's weaknesses. After all, he had fought them before.
A few times, okay. Hi T and I went up to face the Hive with nothing but our wits and our Series 7 deatomizers.
The description came to an abrupt halt. It wasn't that H didn't want to go on, but that his memories only went this far. The perceptive Molly beside him had already guessed the reason. They might not have defeated the Hive that night. Furthermore, H's memory had been erased, likely to cover up a certain truth. H didn't refute it. He also agreed with Molly's speculation. Shortly after, the two arrived at the teleportation gateway, only to find T standing on the platform above. He didn't rush to enter the gateway. He was only waiting for it to fully open, so that the entire Hive fleet could pass through. Seeing that H seemed to have uncovered the truth, T dropped his pretense and revealed his true motive: to obtain the most powerful weapon in the universe. I manipulated Wongs into bringing the crystal weapon to Earth, and entrusting it to the Men in Black. After all, only you have the power to protect it, and only I can easily take it. I did this because the Hive also fears this formidable weapon. With it, I can become the ruler of the Hive and dominate the entire galaxy. As the gateway slowly opened, T still tried to persuade H with words despite the gun pointed at him. But what T did next revealed his true identity.
Always like a son to him.
Shoot it! Shoot it!
Unexpectedly, T was the one possessed by the Hive. No wonder he betrayed humanity. The Hive had taken control of his consciousness. No matter how H and Molly attacked, they couldn't harm him while he was under the Hive's control. Watching him about to pass through the gateway to join the Hive fleet, H had to put down his weapon, trying to rouse the possessed T with memories of their past.
Hey! I know you're in there somewhere! It's me! H! Remember! You wanted me to take your place!
Molly on the side tried to launch a surprise attack, but was hit by an energy wave T unleashed with a wave of his hand. She was knocked into the open energy wormhole instead, and it was at this moment of falling that Molly remembered the original intention behind joining the Men in Black.
The truth of the universe. Want to know how it all works.
The universe has a way of leading you to where you're supposed to be.
The moment you're supposed to be there.
Though humans are insignificant, they can rely on courage, wisdom and friendship to find a way to survive amid the grand interstellar crisis.
I'm not losing another queen.
On the other side, H kept trying to rouse T with their past memories. Taking advantage of T's momentary hesitation, H lunged forward abruptly and snatched the crystal weapon from T's grasp. Meanwhile, Molly, having escaped the wormhole, arrived just in time. H tossed the crystal to her without hesitation, sparking the Hive's furious wrath. T's entire body was engulfed by a swirling black mist. Just as it was about to unleash an attack, Molly activated the crystal weapon, cranked the energy to maximum, and launched a devastating counterattack. As everything settled down, the Hive was completely defeated, and so, the story drew to a close. As the fourth installment in the Men in Black franchise, Men in Black, International attempts to break free from the classic, veteran agent meets new partner formula of the first three films, taking global perspective as its selling point to inject new vitality into this long-standing sci-fi IP. However, judging from the final product, the movie is more like an old drink in a new bottle. The familiar alien elements and humorous tone remain, but it lacks the freshness and depth that resonate with audiences. The film's strengths lie in its visual presentation. The director uses more exquisite special effects to create a diverse cosmic alien world, from the diverse alien refugees on the streets of London, to the hidden interstellar gateway in the Egyptian desert, and the all-consuming Hive creature form in the final battle. The dense sci-fi scenes make the worldview of the Men in Black universe more tangible, fulfilling audiences' visual expectations for interstellar adventures. Yet the film's shortcomings are equally prominent. The plot is overly formulaic, from Molly joining the Men in Black and partnering with H on missions, to exposing the mole within the organization and resolving the Earth crisis. The entire storyline is almost a sci-fi version of a mundane account. Plots like protecting alien royalty, searching for key artifacts, and confronting villainous moles can all find similar templates in previous sci-fi action films. In particular, the setting of the mole's identity lacks sufficient foreshadowing in the early stages, resulting in a lack of impact when revealed later, greatly diminishing the sense of suspense. But overall, Men in Black International is a passable franchise spin-off. It offers audiences 90 minutes of lighthearted entertainment in the cinema. If you're a franchise fan, you may find nostalgia in the familiar Men in Black elements, but for audiences expecting new breakthroughs, this film will likely feel familiar yet unfulfilling. After all, when sci-fi adventures are reduced to just visual effects and celebrity faces, even the most classic IP will gradually lose its appeal. Today's commentary ends here. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel, like and share this video to show your support, and we'll see you next time.